this is the last word, and I'm Maria Shakil. All eyes are on the Chief Minister's residence in Kolkata, where a meeting between protesting doctors and Mamata Banerjee is underway. It is the same set of doctors who went to meet the Chief Minister on Saturday with the same set of 5 demands. The only difference is essentially middle ground of sorts for the meeting to happen has been reached. The doctors have set aside their demand for live streaming after the Mamata administration agreed to hand over a signed copy of the minutes of the meeting. This demand for live streaming is what stalled previous attempts at reaching an understanding. But will a middle ground be reached over the doctors' key demands? Is a breakthrough in sight is the big question. Remember, today is day 37 of the junior doctors' strike. They have support from all over the country, including the national body representing resident doctors. Apart from the RG Kar rape and murder case, these doctors are calling for a systemic change that allows them to work in a safe environment. And clearly, the trust deficit with the West Bengal government runs deep.
So you were talking about the criminal nexus among doctors that are very close to the ruling government that needs to be dismantled. If you could just elaborate on that.
Yes, actually this criminal nexus is being run by a small section of doctors who are very close to the current ruling political dispensation in the state of West Bengal. And that syndicate must be dismantled if we want to stop such heinous...
And what is your expectation of the meeting with the Chief Minister, Mamata Banerjee?
Yes, pardon me?
The meeting with the Chief Minister.
Yeah, the junior doctors actually tried to meet the junior, hold the meeting twice. They went to the state secretariat once and the residence office of the Chief Minister twice. But it is for the government's rigid attitude. The meeting could not happen.
The Mamata government, on the other hand, has made all efforts to make one outreach after another. But they clearly have dug in their heels over the sacking of key officials and haven't really spelled out any concrete steps to find a middle path, what is being seen as almost like a syndicate of sorts which is running in the state of Bengal. Remember, there have been multiple questions that have been raised also on the part as to how long can these protesting doctors continue. The deadline which was set by the Supreme Court to rejoin work has also expired. The question that we ask on the show, what will it take to break this impasse? Joining me now is Saurav, who's joining us live from Kolkata. Saurav, coming to you, the question is a solution really in sight?
Well, it depends on the outcome of the meeting, and of course the fact that the meeting is happening in the first place is something that many of us see as a breakthrough, given the fact that the last 4 attempts to hold this meeting has not materialized, largely over, as you explained, that demand for videography and also live streaming. But when it came to Saturday evening, that videography live streaming demand was dropped, but by then it was too late. So today that meeting is taking place with an agreement that minutes of the meeting will be shared by both parties and signed by both parties. And that is something that, of course, that's happening at Mamata Banerjee's residence at Kalighat. This lane that you see in these pictures is what leads to Mamata Banerjee's residence here. And obviously the Chief Minister's meeting, the doctors who have been protesting at the Swasthya Bhavan. The doctors have a few demands: removal of some health department officials, and also, others like they have other demands like removal of the Chief Secretary, Police Commissioner. Some of those demands the Chief Minister said can't be done immediately. But if there is some amount of breakthrough, something that is part of the negotiations, then perhaps one might see a breakthrough. But again, we'll have to wait till the outcome of the meeting.
All right, Saurav, thank you so much for joining us. Joining me now is Riju Datta, spokesperson of the Trinamool Congress. We have Dr. Shaturupa representing the BJP, Karuna Nandi representing Doctor Association. She is a senior advocate of the Supreme Court. Jayanta Ghosh is a senior journalist. Dr. Aparna Mohanta is a protesting doctor from Kolkata. Riju, the question certainly would be that is it too much that the doctors are asking for if they want the system to be cleaned up by sending a message that any of the, erring doctors can be sacked, then what is wrong in demanding that? And how long will the Chief Minister continue to protect them?
First of all, Maria, Chief Minister is not protecting anybody. Point number one. Point number two, the world has seen, the country has seen how the Chief Minister, after the first two meetings, did not happen because of mutual misunderstandings, because of live streaming, videography and all that, that finally the meeting has happened. The Chief Minister has left. On the first meeting, the Chief Minister was made to wait for 2 hours inside her secretariat. Then she herself went to the protesting site. Have you seen Narendra Modi go to Manipur or Shaheen Bagh or Sindhu border? No. It was historic. The Chief Minister herself went and met the protesting doctors. She requested them to come to her residence that evening itself. But mutual ground could not be found over videography. And then minutes were agreed after 3 hours. Finally, the meeting is happening. Let me say this on record. We have no malice in our heart for the junior doctors. Neither we are against them. We respect their protest and their demand for justice and the capital punishment for the culprits. But you also have to understand that because of this impasse, because of this cease work, 29 innocent lives have been lost. It is the protest which is still going on is completely against the directions of the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. Mamata Banerjee has clearly said she will not impose ESMA. She will not take any action against the doctors because she also has come out of Andolan and she respects it. But somehow we have to find common ground.
Have the doctors also taken a maximalist position?
No. Thank you, Maria, for having me on the show. Good evening. I don't think so. The doctors have taken a maximalist position. In fact, they have conceded to whatever demands that the ruling dispensation had in store for them. This is the least that they can do, considering the amount of trust deficit that has been happening throughout the entire situations prevailing within the state. They have not taken a maximal decision at all. This is the least that could have been expected from them. A videography or a live streaming that has been doing the rounds in Supreme Court itself. Anyway, we are looking forward to what has been happening tonight at Kalighat. Let's see what happens. Thank you, Maria.
Nandi, coming to you now, since you represent the doctors, the question is that this cannot be an endless situation. They have been demanding justice, and rightly so. They have been demanding a safe environment for them to work, and rightly so. But the question is that there has to be a middle ground. What is that middle ground really?
The middle ground.
Of justice, here that we do not speak of a middle ground. What we speak of is of justice. When the young woman was raped and killed, one thing became clear, that this is not an isolated incident. It is part of a larger pattern of financial irregularities and the control of the state and the running of the state medical facilities in a manner that is not conducive to safe functioning. So when the TMC representative demonizes the doctors by saying that there are 29 deaths, I would like the TMC representative to make sure that there is adequate data to support this. He does not have it. Why? Because in court,
I do have it.
was deaths based on media reports. What the portal actually shows, please let me finish.
Yes,
what the
please, go
state
ahead,
government shows is that the deaths that happened this year are actually fewer than the deaths that happened in a comparative cohort when you look at August 2023. So therefore, this could be in part because of the lower footfalls. Emergency services have been running the same. And let me be clear that I represent the senior doctors who have been at work throughout and have only been on strike for 2 days prior to the Supreme Court order. That is who I am for. So I don't have a vested interest in this. However, we have been working overtime, upholding our Hippocratic oaths to make sure that that the patients don't suffer, number one, and number two, to cover for our junior doctors who have not felt safe to come back.
Okay.
So therefore, when the doctors went to meet the chief minister, then the reasonable demands that they have, and I have seen those demands, to say that those responsible for the kinds of financial irregularities which caused the RG Kaur Medical Hospital's head, Dr. Sandip Ghosh, to be arrested not only for the financial irregularities case, but also in the rape case. Let us be absolutely clear about that. That where there is destruction of evidence, where a personnel of the police force has been arrested,
Okay.
that the state government responsibility for this, that senior official state responsibility, and they are not.
Fine enough, Ms. Nandi. Before I bring in others, yes, you wanted to make a point, Riju Datta.
Yes. First of all, let me be very clear. Nobody wanted to demonize the doctors, but the problem is there are a lot of people trying to fish in these murky waters who have political inclinations. The problem is, if we are also here sitting here demonizing the parents of the victims who have lost their children, they made a press conference and the victim's parents said, we have taken, like I'll give you an example, a 28-year-old boy from Konnagar, Bikram. His mother said, my son suffered an accident. I took my son to RG Kaur Medical Hospital. He was profusely bleeding. There were no doctors available for 3 hours and he passed away. So are we going to say that the victim, Bikram's mother, is lying? If we are asking for justice for Abhaya, then what about the justice for these people? These victims' parents did an open press conference in front of the national media that because of the lack of availability of doctors, not in private institutions. Private institution is going hunky-dory. In government institutions, our children have died because of lack of. There are multiple instances where where cancer patients, pregnant women have gone to government hospitals, the underprivileged, and they have not been able to.
I get your point,
and
but
service is a constitutional
but to
right.
say
It's
that
an emergency
the doctors are being reckless and there is negligence of duty is a huge charge that you're leveling against them. And also that statistic of 29, there is no basis to it at the moment. But yes, Jayanto Ghoshal, one moment, ma'am. Dr. Shaturopa, please come in first, and then I bring in Jayanto Ghoshal.
Maria, thank you. Riju has had so much to say twice. I need to give you a little extra time, I guess. As far as demonizing the doctors are concerned, Riju is just following what his leader has been doing for so long. And in fact, not only the Supremo, so to say, there have been several MLAs and MPs who are going out of their way to, like you very correctly said, demonize these doctors. As far as these 29 lives are concerned, I think Madam Karuna Nandi has already clarified. I don't want to get into that. But one has to understand that here we have a health minister for 13 years. And the dismal situation of the healthcare system cannot now be pointed at some 7,000 doctors who are apparently on strike and who are not working. It is a fact that nothing has stopped because everywhere, at least the senior doctors are definitely operational. He has mentioned Konnagar victim. Yes, there has been an unfortunate death of a child whose mother, mind you, if you see the video, if you don't have the video, I will send it across to you. It is so orchestrated. The poor lady whose child has died, for whatever reason, is so orchestrated. She's even looking at the camera and saying, okay, is that enough? Did I say the right thing? I mean, she didn't say this. But you as a journalist, you would understand. It's not too much, Riju. You know what you're talking.
Shame on you.
Yes, it is true that the Chief Minister had to take the extra step to go to their agitation because she's an astute politician. She knows what to do when, but she's been playing to the gallery from day one. Nobody told the doctors the Chief Minister was waiting. We saw it on television that suddenly there was a very huge hall, empty hall with some 30 chairs and she was sitting alone. I don't know whether she was trying to play out the same thing that she had done to the Prime Minister of India by making him wait for some 10 minutes when he had come for Ayla. Now, the point here is Mamata Banerjee had called the students for the second time, I think, to the house. And you have to understand, although she kind of begged and pleaded, which is a huge deal for a chief minister, mind you. I don't know what I would have done in these kind of circumstances, but the doctors with folded hands, stood in the rain, pouring rain, and said, "Madam, forgive us, we have not come here to have tea. We want to solve these problems. We need a live telecast. If we can't give a live telecast, at least allow our video cameras to go in, people with their video cameras." Now, finally, they have agreed that there will be minutes. But what I'm trying to point out here is look at the level of mistrust, the complete lack of faith in a system, in the state government. Mamata Banerjee and the number of conditions that the junior doctors have laid out, sack Vineet Goyal, sack the top health officials, have a departmental inquiry. Mind you, Maria, these doctors are not run-of-the-mill, street urchins.
Maria, is this a monologue? I do not understand. Is this a monologue on your show?
Maria, Riju is going to be so
What is
impolite
happening?
all the time. That's his
You
habit.
got your time
But
to
thank
speak,
you.
Riju.
Twice.
Yes, Jayanta Ghoshal. Let me bring in Jayanta Ghoshal. Jayanta Ghoshal, the question is that there have been enough images of the Chief Minister reaching out to the protesting doctors. Of course, this is the 5th request that came from her end to have a meeting. She kept on waiting. Those images have come out. She's been waiting for the protesting doctors to come and have a meeting with her. But the question certainly is, what next? I mean, the middle path appears for her to also walk in some miles in meeting their demand. Yes, it cannot be about, shooting the entire or live streaming of this entire meeting. That has been set aside. But action against those who are part of this syndicate is not asking for much.
Yeah. Maria, number one issue is that the movement of the junior doctors and supported by the huge middle class and the civil society, the discontent and the issues are very relevant. And I think in my long journalistic career for 40 years, I have not seen this sort of organic upsurge of the Bengali people. And the good aspect of the whole issue is that if it is a not political party program by any political party, if it is the genuine organic discontent of the people and against the fault lines of the health department and the health ministry of this state government and the West Bengal government, then now what we want to resolve this issue. There is no election now. And you cannot oust Mamata Banerjee like what happened in Bangladesh. That cannot be the model, and nobody is saying that is the model. So when Chief Minister is addressing the discontent and she has came to the venue and said that I am with you and I want to repair the fault lines, then if you don't participate and they participated, that is also a very good thing today. What happened yesterday, day before yesterday is a bygone story now. That more futuristic issue is that hope against hope, finger crossed, that we don't want this anarchy, instability of the state, because there are a lot of other issues, economic issues, education issues, and the priorities of the Bengalis are several very important issues. And the perception on Bengal in Delhi and in the other parts of the world, I don't think it is good for the Bengal also. No? So if it is resolved today, I don't know what will happen. If it is resolved, and you have to address the administrative issues also, and that also CM said that I will do this, and that assurance. Now I don't know what will happen. Now the oust of the police commissioner, the oust of the health secretary, all these issues are very sensitive issues, but
Yes.
I think Chief Minister should take some actions on the bureaucratic issues
Sincerity
also.
is being put to question here,
To
Jayanta
resolve-
Ghoshal.
to resolve-
So,
to resolve the
if
situation.
there has to be a solution, then both the sides have to walk that mile to look for a solution.
Yeah.
Right now, it doesn't appear, that sincerity seems to be
But
missing.
dialogue, Maria, dialogue is the only way.
Absolutely, sir. I agree
for
with
the
you.
solution.
Dialogue is the only way forward. Dr. Aparna, let's start wrapping up this discussion. Dr. Aparna.
Yes. Maria, what I feel is that the dialogue is not the only way forward. It is the CBI's inquiry, impartial and transparent inquiry, that is the way forward. It is the accountability of health administration, and the buck doesn't stop at Kalighat. It is more and much more and beyond that. So we are expecting the cognizance taken by the Honorable Supreme Court tomorrow regarding the impasse. We are requesting a transparent and impartial investigation for the CBI. So today's discussion that the Honorable Chief Minister must have had with the junior doctors, whatever it is, the buck doesn't stop here. There are much more that needs to be done to detoxify and sanitize the health vertical within the government system prevailing in West Bengal. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, Ms. Nandi, you wanted to come in.
I wanted to say a few things. The first thing is that, look, when it's raining, right, outside, you don't say that he says it's raining and she says it's not raining. You look outside the window. So the point is that, okay, if the Chief Minister can't accept all these demands and can't say, terminate these people, at the very least, as the speaker before me was saying, objective inquiry, objective data, looking into the kind of large-scale corruption that is happening and fixing systems that are accountable. Because let us be clear, a lot of this corruption is by people that are associated with the TMC, right? Now, these are hard decisions to take. However, if these decisions are taken, I am sure, and if the systems are improved to make sure that the doctors are safe, the junior doctors, have also sworn a Hippocratic oath. And it's not easy for them to stay away from work in this way. It's happened in this large scale for the first time because things have come to such a pass. And I say this with full responsibility. I will place it on record to the TMC representative that who will benefit if you fall, the CPM and the BJP. I am not associated with any political party. I will never join any of these parties. Please take that as a given before you make irresponsible statements that are personal.
Okay. Yes. Riju Datta?
Maria, the way the debate started and the way it is ending, it is much more positive. Both the doctors who spoke before me made sense. Yes, this is a government which is in its 13th or 14th year. If there are too many good works that have happened, but if there are some mistakes that have happened, we need to rectify it. No doubt about it. There is no political opposition in Bengal, because the political opposition who tried to hijack the doctors' protests were given go-back slogans and they ran away from there. So it is our responsibility to check that. And I agree with the doctors before me. But it is also a fact that we have to run a government. The junior doctors are like our brothers and sisters. We have to find common ground where, like again I will say, live streaming cannot be, like the doctor said, bigger than the Hippocratic Oath. We have to find a common ground where we will go a mile and they have to come a quarter. But if they say that you have to sack all the health bureaucrats, all the top-shot bureaucrats of health right now, right here, I don't know the decision the Chief Minister is going to take. But if three of them, let me finish please, if two and a half demands are met and 2.5 the Chief Minister says,
I think that's a fair point.
Give me time.
That's a fair point.
I think we should all come to an amicable solution so that innocent lives and underprivileged lives are not threatened, who cannot afford private
the main purpose with which, the main
work.
agenda with which these protests began was justice, safety for doctors in their workspaces. Is that really getting lost in what we are seeing as maximalist position on the part of the doctors and also on the part of the Chief Minister? If there has to be cleaning of this entire corrupt system, then both the sides will have to walk that extra mile. And that is something that we are also not seeing happen this time. But yes, there is a middle path, a visible middle path, which, some glimpse of which we have seen today with the meeting which is ongoing. Thanks so much for watching. And thanks for joining us, Riju Datta, Dr. Shaturappa, Karna Nandi, Jayanta Ghoshal, and Dr. Aparna Mohanta. We are putting out this entire discussion on ndtv.com. That's all from me. Thanks so much.